What's up, Mikey Wrestling here with another AEW Fight Forever video. Today we are going to be looking at some brand new Nintendo Switch gameplay for AEW Fight Forever. Thanks to the man, the myth, the legend, Hang 'em High, and someone new, Pounding the Meat Podcast. What a name. And I'll be leaving links to Hang 'em High's and Pound the Meat's podcast Twitter pages in the description for you guys below. Starting off this video, I'm actually going to be going through the comparison between the PS5 version and the Nintendo Switch version of AEW Fight Forever. I think it's best to always do the comparison to see what's really different between current gen and the Nintendo Switch version. Obviously the PS5 and the Xbox Series X version is going to look clean, smooth, graphics are going to look awesome. The first thing you're going to notice for the Nintendo Switch version is that the graphics do take a hit, because you're obviously not going to get the same fidelity of a PS5 on the Nintendo Switch. But honestly, even with the graphics taking a hit, it still looks pretty good on the Nintendo Switch. And comparing it graphically with other wrestling games, I would say it looks like a better WWE 13, WWE 2K14, I would say. And to some people, it might not be that noticeable of a difference, especially if you are playing this game in handheld. And I feel like if you're buying AEW Fight Forever on the Switch, you're pretty much just getting it for the portability factor. I know that's the number one reason why I'm getting AEW Fight Forever on the Switch, is so I can play it in bed, play it on the go, or play it while the TV is being in use. And another thing I noticed between the PS5 and the Nintendo Switch version is if you look at the lights on the stage in the ramp area, on the PS5 you'll notice the lights change color, where on the Switch it's actually just a basic white light. And you know that there's going to be small little compromises like this on the Nintendo Switch version just to get it running smoothly on the Nintendo Switch, so we don't have a WWE 2K18 on our hands again. And when even comparing the game file size between the current gen and the Nintendo Switch versions, you're going to see the current gen versions at 17.3 gigabytes, where the Nintendo Switch is only 11.8 gigabytes. So that's a difference of about 5.5 gigabytes. So there's going to be quite a few compromises on the Nintendo Switch version. But the one thing I did notice with the Nintendo Switch version is when you go to the Elite Edition for Fight Forever, it shows the file size as being 13.7 gigabytes. So I would assume that that's probably including the Season Pass DLC character models. And when you're looking at the load times for the Nintendo Switch, you're probably looking at about 40 to 50 seconds, maybe a minute sometimes, which is pretty much the norm for any game on the Nintendo Switch. And we're looking at how the game runs in a match on the Nintendo Switch. I think it runs pretty well on the Nintendo Switch. It looks pretty smooth. It's obviously not as smooth as the PS5 version or the Xbox Series X version would be, but you probably are still getting about 30 frames per second, maybe just under 30 frames per second for it on the Switch. And I know what you guys are saying, there's only 2 wrestlers in the ring, Mike. We need more wrestlers in the ring. We need more going on in this game to really push the Nintendo Switch to see if it drops frames. And I'll get to 4 men in the ring on the Nintendo Switch in a minute. But first, let's get to the barbed wire death match, because you're gonna have that big explosions going on. A lot's gonna be going on the screen. Surely the frames are gonna drop in a barbed wire death match, right? As you can clearly see from this video, we have the explosion going off in the barbed wire death match. There's no frames being dropped, and the game is still running pretty smooth as you can get for Nintendo Switch. And that's pretty freaking smooth if you ask me. And now we are gonna push AEW Fight Forever to its limits on the Nintendo Switch. We are gonna put 4 men in the ring at a time, because with this many superstars in the ring at a time, with this much action going on in the ring at a time, surely we will have another WWE 2K18 on our hands. Well, to be fair, WWE 2K18 couldn't even handle 2 superstars on the Nintendo Switch. And as you guys can see from this video, even with 4 superstars in the ring at a time, the game is running pretty damn smooth on the Nintendo Switch. And it makes me so happy to see that we have a wrestling game running smoothly on the Nintendo Switch. And one thing I did notice while watching all this gameplay was it looks like there's some stuttering or some hiccups that are happening during the gameplay. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll release like a day 1 patch for the Switch that will smooth that out. And I feel like if you had any doubts about buying AEW Fight Forever on the Nintendo Switch, you could pretty much put those doubts to rest, because the game is running pretty smooth and it still looks pretty good on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the one thing that we haven't seen is what the game is going to look like docked, because normally all the Nintendo Switch games look better handheld compared to when you play it in dock, because then you get the image all stretched out and it just doesn't look all that great. So I am curious to see what it would look like to our eyes playing on a giant TV screen. But I also feel like if you're buying the Nintendo Switch version, like I said earlier in this video, video, you're most likely getting it for the portability aspect. But I must say I am really happy with how AEW Fight Forever has turned out on the Switch. I am so excited to play this game. It is so close. We could almost taste it. How hyped are you Nintendo Switch players for AEW Fight Forever? How hyped? Let me see how hyped you guys are. Let's see if we can get this video 50 likes for AEW Fight Forever on the Switch. Even if you're not a Nintendo Switch fan, you're getting an AEW Fight Forever on PS5 or Xbox. You know what? Make sure you show me that hype too. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, see you later, guys.